You can take Floyd Mayweather out of the boxing ring, but you can't take the boxing ring out of Floyd Mayweather. This sentiment is echoed by anyone who witnessed the legendary, undefeated boxing champion put on a masterclass against a younger and active combat sports fighter, John Gotti AT. Even though the fight wasn't officially scored, it was evident to everyone watching that Floyd Mayweather, at 47 years old, had thoroughly outclassed his opponent. A popular website, reflecting the general sentiment, scored the bout 6-2 in Mayweather's favor, underscoring just how dominant the boxing legend was throughout the exhibition. In the ring, Floyd Mayweather's brilliance was on full display, particularly with his tactical use of the jab. Mayweather has always been known for his precision and intelligence inside the squared circle, and this fight was no different. The jab, a weapon Mayweather has perfected over his storied career, became a tool of both offense and defense, allowing him to control the pace and distance of the fight. The bout was reminiscent of their first encounter, where Mayweather had shown John Gotti, who truly ruled the ring. This time, the emphasis was less on youthful exuberance or sheer athleticism, and more on Mayweather's superior footwork, boxing IQ, and technique. From the opening bell, it was clear that Mayweather was not in the ring to play games. The fight, scheduled for 8 rounds with each round lasting 2 minutes, began with John Gotti coming out aggressively, eager to test the seasoned champion. However, Mayweather's slick defensive maneuvers, including his famous shoulder roll and impeccable footwork, allowed him to evade most of Gotti's attacks. As Gotti continued to press forward, looking for openings, he found himself increasingly frustrated by Mayweather's elusive movements and precise counterpunching. Despite Gotti's relentless efforts, Mayweather's defense held strong. In the second round, Gotti managed to land a clean shot, but it did little to faze the veteran fighter. Before Gotti could capitalize on the moment, the bell rang, signaling the end of the round. The third round saw a more cautious approach from Gotti, who was now more mindful of his defense. However, this shift in strategy also made it difficult for either fighter to land significant blows, leading to a relatively uneventful round. As the fight progressed, Mayweather continued to frustrate Gotti with his superior skills. By the 5th round, Gotti appeared somewhat rejuvenated after receiving treatment in his corner, and he returned to the ring with renewed intensity. He launched a series of attacks on Mayweather, but the experienced champion used his hit and don't get hit strategy to avoid damage while landing clean shots of his own. The 5th round ended with Gotti feeling a glimmer of hope, but it was clear that Mayweather was still in control. The 6th round was where Mayweather truly asserted his dominance. He expertly maintained the distance between himself and Gotti, preventing the younger fighter from getting close enough to land meaningful punches. As Gotti struggled to close the gap, Mayweather continued to pepper him with jabs and hooks, further widening the gap on the unofficial scorecards. Frustration mounted for Gotti as he realized he couldn't throw more than a handful of punches in the round due to Mayweather's masterful use of distance. By the 7th round, both fighters were visibly tired, and the action slowed down significantly. However, in the closing seconds of the round, Mayweather unleashed a series of quick combinations that clearly won him the round. The final round, however, was the most dramatic. Gotti, sensing that he was behind, came out firing with everything he had left. But Mayweather, as he had done throughout the fight, put on a defensive masterclass, avoiding Gotti's wild swings and landing sharp counterpunches. This fight with John Gotti AG had striking similarities to Mayweather's famous 2013 bout against Canelo Alvarez. In both cases, Mayweather, despite being older and perhaps not as physically prime as his opponents, used his ring intelligence, experience, and technique to dominate the fight. Just as he did with Canelo, Mayweather showcased that boxing is not just about power and youth, but about strategy, skill, and an understanding of the sweet science. To fully appreciate Mayweather's fight against Gotti, it's essential to revisit the Mayweather vs. Canelo fight, one of the most significant moments in modern boxing history. Heading into that fight, Mayweather was in the midst of an unprecedented 6-fight deal with Showtime, a deal that required him to fight 6 times in 30 months for a guaranteed $200 million. The boxing world was skeptical. Could a 36-year-old Mayweather, who hadn't fought more than once a year since 2007, take on such a rigorous schedule? After dispatching Robert Guerrero in May, there was considerable curiosity about who Mayweather would face next. To the surprise of many, Mayweather chose to fight Canelo Alvarez, a fighter 13 years his junior, and widely considered to be bigger and stronger than any recent opponent Mayweather had faced. This choice was a testament to Mayweather's confidence in his abilities and his desire to prove that he was still the best in the sport, even at an advanced age. Canelo, fresh off a unification victory over Austin Trout, and with a dominant win over Shane Mosley on his resume, was seen as the future of boxing. He was the man many believed would take over the mantle once Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao decided to retire. However, to fight Mayweather, Canelo had to agree to a 152-pound catchweight, 2 pounds below the junior middleweight limit. This decision, as it turned out, was a lesson Canelo would carry with him throughout his career. The fight, held at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on September 14, 2013, was a massive event. The arena was packed with fight fans, and the bout generated over $20 million in ticket sales while pulling in a then-record $150 million from 2.2 million pay-per-view buys. The fight felt like a passing of the torch moment, but instead of signaling the arrival of a new boxing superstar, it reaffirmed Mayweather's status as the sport's cash cow and its undisputed best. As the fight began, it became clear that this was going to be one of Mayweather's most masterful performances. Backed by a star-studded entourage that included Lil Wayne and Justin Bieber, Mayweather entered the ring with the confidence of a man who had nothing to prove but everything to lose. The question on everyone's mind was whether his skill would match his celebrity. The answer came quickly: yes, and then some. From the opening bell, Mayweather neutralized Canelo's offense with ease. His movement was impeccable, his defense was impenetrable, and his counterpunching was on point. Canelo, who had been hailed as boxing's next big thing, found himself outclassed at every turn. As Mayweather circled around him, staying out of range of Canelo's powerful shots, it became evident that Canelo was not yet ready to take on a fighter of Mayweather's caliber. By the 6th round, the fight was one-sided. Canelo's frustration was visible as he struggled to land anything significant on Mayweather. Meanwhile, Mayweather continued to pick him apart with sharp jabs, crisp right hands, and an array of defensive maneuvers that left the Mexican star bewildered. As the rounds ticked by, the pro-Alvarez crowd grew quieter, realizing that their fighter was no match for Mayweather's genius. The fight was so lopsided that many ringside observers couldn't find a single round to give to Canelo. However, when the scorecards were announced, a wave of shock swept through the arena. Judge C.J. Ross inexplicably scored the fight a 114-114 draw, a decision that was widely derided as one of the worst scorecards in boxing history. Thankfully, the other 2 judges, Dave Moretti and Craig Metcalf, scored the fight 116-112 and 117-111 in Mayweather's favor, ensuring that the right man had his hand raised. The fallout from the controversial scorecard was significant. C.G. Ross stepped down from judging after the fight, a move that many in the boxing community saw as necessary given the outcry over her score. As for Mayweather, he continued his unbeaten streak, securing victories over Marcos Maidana twice before engaging in the much-anticipated showdown with Manny Pacquiao in 2015, which became the highest-grossing fight in boxing history. Mayweather would go on to fight 2 more times before retiring from professional boxing with a perfect 50-0 record. His final 2 fights, a victory over Androberto, and a lucrative exhibition match against UFC superstar Conor McGregor solidified his status as one of the greatest and most financially successful boxers of all time. Today, Floyd Mayweather travels the world, participating in exhibition matches against a variety of opponents, ranging from YouTubers to reality TV stars. These bouts, while not as competitive as his prime years, continue to draw crowds and generate significant revenue, a testament to Mayweather's enduring popularity and appeal. In conclusion, the recent exhibition against Gotti, much like the iconic fight against Canelo Alvarez, serves as a reminder of Floyd Mayweather's brilliance inside the ring. Whether he's facing a young, hungry fighter or a seasoned veteran, Mayweather's combination of intelligence, skill, and experience consistently sets him apart. As we reflect on his storied career and his continued success in exhibitions, one thing is clear: Floyd Mayweather will always be the real boss of the ring.